I'm the Talking Skull, and this year I'm playing classic first-person shooters to draw a line from Wolfenstein 3D to Halo. After years worth of PC shooters, it's finally time to see what consoles can do. If ever a game was a victim of its own platform, Disruptor is it. Released for the PlayStation 1 a year before that console got analog sticks, Disruptor makes do with the console equivalent of keyboard-only controls. And let me tell you, playing an FPS with tank controls on a D-pad is not great. It's a shame too, because Disruptor kicks ass.
Just remember, think fast, shoot fast. And kick ass.
We need someone to get in here, kick ass.
Being a stormer, it's more than just kicking ass.
These guns are so satisfying. Listen to these sound effects. Oof, yes, thank you. I'll take 1,000 of that, please. Each gun has a completely different sound, and they all have that all-important punch the moment you pull the digital trigger. Weapon balance is phenomenal too. Guns have distinct fire rates, we've got a burst fire, we've got the spread. Look at that knockback. Every weapon in this game is a joy to use, and you'll be using all of them. The other thing you'll be using is psionic powers. Stepping a decade into the future to write pages into BioShock's book, Disruptor gives the player special powers to supplement the gunplay. The dark side has always been more fun. Getting to mix and match guns and powers lends more flexibility and decision-making to this game than any of its predecessors. Do I want to play it safe with a plasma rifle and healing? Or do I want to go hard with the up-close drain and shotgun combo? Every mix of guns and powers lends itself to a slightly different playstyle, and you really benefit from thinking through what to equip together. Unfortunately, midway through the game, the systems and rules supporting these abilities fall apart. The later abilities cost so much that you can only cast them a few times before needing to recharge. To recharge, you farm enemies by slowly spamming this puny drain ability. It's like trying to break down a door using a doily, and the only thing it reliably drains is the fun out of this game. The extreme cost of these abilities, combined with their immense power and the ease of completely whiffing them, means these levels feel bizarrely swingy. This power bomb can clear a whole room, but it steers like a bicycle with a flat tire and no chain. Whether or not you're landing this shot makes the difference between levels feeling nearly impossible or baby mode. And this shield, it makes you completely invulnerable, but only for a couple of seconds. You die over and over until you memorize where you need the shield. And now, suddenly the level is easy. This is how the whole back half of Disruptor goes. Tedious, painful, and frustrating, right up until the point where it's suddenly no challenge at all. But you can't forget the most important thing, which is that this game kicks ass.
Just remember, think fast, shoot fast, and kick ass.
And while you're kicking alien ass, the music is kicking your ears' ass. Disruptor even has adaptive music, a pretty groundbreaking feature for a 90s FPS. Every level has ambient and action versions of the level's theme. Though, for the second time in this series, I have to give retroactive credit to Star Wars Dark Forces. The adaptive soundtrack in that game is so smooth and seamless that it didn't even occur to me that it was unusual. I mean, listen to this. Can you blame me for not realizing that this is an entirely new track? Compared to that, Disruptor's implementation is clumsy, with frequent jarring music cuts at inappropriate moments. But points for the attempt, and it's still a mark of progress in the genre. Seriously though, Dark Forces deserves so much credit. And a re-release. That was a good game. The environments look good here too. Every map has a unique aesthetic, and the 3D consoles were pretty good at handling polygonal environments. That gives Disruptor some effective tools for making dynamic levels with interesting terrain. Even better, the enemy variety here is absurd. Where other shooters had 10 or 12 enemies, Disruptor has new threats every single mission. I couldn't find a useful wiki for this game, so I had to count them myself, and I counted about 20 different enemies, plus a couple of reskins. It's a smorgasbord of soft sci-fi treats from BattleBots to aliens, mechs, cryopirates, and Terminators. These are well-designed enemies too, with plenty of projectile and melee offerings and lots of opportunities to outplay baddies beyond just pure aim. Disruptor even gets full value out of its weapons by introducing each gun as a new enemy's attack before you get to kill them and claim it for yourself. It's a nice way to keep things fresh, and along with the distinct environments, means Disruptor always has something new for the player. I want to call special attention to this blown reactor level. You have a 30-second timer before you die, and every switch you reach adds a little more time. To beat the level, you've got to race from switch to switch before the clock runs out. This is a creative idea and a lot of fun to play. Oh man, I almost forgot to mention. Disruptor has full motion video. Wait, no, I said that wrong. Disruptor is stuffed to the gills with full motion video. Every mission gives us a new episode in the comically bad direct-to-TV children's military drama that lays out the weak narrative backdrop for your murder sprees.
All the psionics in the world couldn't have saved him from that terrorist ambush.
It takes fully half the game before an overarching plot even appears.
Who the hell did this?
Most of these videos are just your character having mundane conversations with his coworkers. I've gotta say though, despite how obviously bad these scenes are, I got a stupid kind of pleasure out of them once the drama really started.
What about Troy?
He didn't make it.
These are good fun. I like them.
Think fast, shoot fast, and kick ass.
Disruptor was a hit with critics who were hot off of Duke Nukem 3D and Quake, but it struggled to convert console players to this new genre. Disruptor's controls are as close as possible to a one-to-one mapping of the traditional keyboard-only controls of PC shooters, and it seems aimed at existing FPS fans. But as a console game, Disruptor was working with a totally different audience to the rest of the FPS scene. Without a deathmatch mode to facilitate hardcore play, if it was going to capture a wide audience, it probably needed to be a little easier, or at least have more robust difficulty options. Disruptor was the first project by a brand new studio, and although they were proud of their work, they were also disappointed by the end result and wanted to switch gears. The studio, who you might know as Insomniac, made a complete 180 for their next game to create the smash success Spyro, then Ratchet & Clank a little later. It's easy to see Disruptor's influence on Ratchet & Clank, and they even swung back to the FPS genre a decade after Disruptor with Resistance. If this old stuff is interesting to you, check out the rest of my series on first-person shooters to see what I had to say about Quake and more. And if there's something you think I should cover, leave a comment so I can see. Now that the 3D consoles are here, things are gonna start getting wild. This week we blasted our way through a sci-fi dystopia full of mutants and robots. Next week, we're hunting dinosaurs.